Our today's topic is Kingdom Protista. You have studied about 5 kingdoms, right? We have understood R. H. Whitaker's classification, which is 5 kingdom classification, where Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia. These were included in that classification. The first one which we studied was Kingdom Monera, where we have understood what are the characteristics of that kingdom, what kind of the organisms we can put into that kingdom, and how do they reproduce, how do they have been classified, and what kind of the organisms, what is the mode of nutrition, examples we studied, all those things we studied. Now let us understand about Kingdom Protista. This is the second kingdom which we are going to study, right? So here in this Kingdom Protista, all the organisms which comes under here are unicellular. Unicellular, that means they are made up of single cell, and most of under the Kingdom Protista, whatever the organisms comes, they belongs to eukaryotic. Eukaryotic means true and well defined nucleus they have, and also membrane bound organelles they have. Like, which are those membrane bound organelles? You have studied in the cell chapter in your lower grades, right? So membrane bound organelles like mitochondria and endoplasmic reticulum, plasmids, etc. So these are the eukaryotic cell characteristics. So Kingdom Protista includes the organisms which are unicellular eukaryotic. It includes the organisms which are, say, unicellular eukaryotic. And one more important thing is most of them are aquatic. What do you mean by aquatic? They will be living in water. And this kingdom forms the link. This kingdom forms the link between other kingdoms. Which are those other kingdoms? Plantae kingdom, Plantae, Animalia, and Kingdom Fungi. This is the one. So you might get the question now, which is the kingdom which forms the link between the other kingdoms? So the answer is Kingdom Protista. And here we can say one more important thing is the boundaries of this kingdom are not well defined. What is this boundaries of this kingdom are not well defined? See, if you take Kingdom Monera, in Kingdom Monera you will be having all unicellular prokaryotic organisms you have. Prokaryotic organisms will be included, isn't it? But here what happens in Kingdom Protista, see, for example, if they have what may be photosynthetic protist. One biologist says, for example, this person says that it is the organism is photosynthetic Protista. So remember, these kinds of the questions will be, these statement questions will be there, no? Like assertion and reason questions will be there. So they will pick the statement from these kind of the topic. So photosynthetic Protista. One person is saying it is photosynthetic Protista. But when it is synthesizing its own food by the help of the light, the other person says no, it should be in the plant kingdom. As it is synthesizing its own food. But he says no, it is a unicellular, then it should eukaryotic, but it should be in Protista. Like this arguments will be there. So that is why, like how exactly the in Kingdom Monera we say unicellular prokaryotes is the other. Like this boundary is there for this. Only if you are unicellular you can enter here. Only if you are prokaryotic and unicellular you can enter here. Otherwise, you can't enter this kingdom. So, like this boundary is there. Here, there is no such boundary for kingdom Protesta. And nucleus and membrane bound organelles are present here as it is eukaryote. You can say nucleus and membrane bound organelles, membrane bound organelles are present. Okay. These are the general characters we can say. And this one reproduces. If we see the reproduction, if you go through the reproduction, how do they produce offspring? If we say they reproduce asexually by binary fission. So you know binary fission, right? You have understood while studying the reproduction in kingdom Monera. And sexually by the process of cell fusion. They reproduce sexually also by the process of what? Cell fusion. Okay, this is about the reproduction and cell fusion, and also it takes zygote formation also takes place. Zygote formation. So these are the common characteristics of the kingdom Protesta, where you can see the kingdom Protesta includes only unicellular eukaryotes, and most of them are aquatic, and there is a link. It is the one which forms the link between the other kingdoms like Plantae, Animalia and fungi. So the boundaries of this kingdom are not well defined. That is also one point you can note down. Boundaries of this kingdom is not well defined. Okay, boundaries of this kingdom is not well defined, and nucleus and membrane bound organelles are present. Yeah, as it is eukaryotic, this is one of the characteristics, right? And they reproduce asexually by binary fission and sexually by the process of cell fusion and also zygote formation. So these are the characteristics of kingdom Protesta. Now you can see the classification of this kingdom Protesta. So based on this photosynthetic, whether they are saprophytic and protozoans, here we can see how it has been classified, right? So photosynthetic, that means autotrophs. They can synthesize their own food. So based on that, they have been classified like chrysophytes, dinoflagellates and euglenoids. So we have studied kingdom Monera, right? So there how you have studied heterotrophic bacteria and all. In the same way, you will be studying about each one of them and their characteristics. Don't think that, oh my God, how to remember these names? How will I write in the examination and all? Don't think too much. Okay, it is very easy. All these are. Only thing you need to practice them. Repeat it. Pause the video and repeat it. And then you will also remember the spellings also. Like chrysophytes, chrysophytes, like this. You don't feel any difficulties in understanding and writing in the examination. Okay. So for now, you may think, okay, this much is there. How to remember this and all? It is one by one if you are studying. See, earlier you might have thought kingdom Monera, Protesta, Plantae and fungi, RH Whittaker did these five. So in those five we are studying each one of them now, what classification they have and how do they are classified and what are the examples of it we are studying, right? So the next one is dinoflagellates. What is it? Dinoflagellates. Example for this is Vanillolax. And here chrysophyte, Chrysophorella. Next, Euglenoids. For euglenoids, euglena. And saprophytic, that means which is depend on the other organisms, right? Which is getting decaying. So slime mounds are the one, and dictyostelichon is the one example. And next the protozoans. These are heterotrophs. So that means which are depending on the other organisms for their food. So amoeboid protozoans, flagellated. Amoeboid protozoans example easy to remember. The name itself we have amoeba. Flagellated protozoans, trypanosoma. And ciliated protozoans, paramecium. Cilia, flagella means one which is having a tail-like structure. Okay. And cilia means the hair-like structures will be covering it. For example, paramecium. And sporozoans. Example, plasmodium. Do you remember plasmodium? Plasmodium, the germ plasmodium will be carried by the mosquito, right? So these are the examples, I mean how this protista have been classified. Now let us understand about the chrysophytes, which comes under which one? Kingdom Protista. So chrysophyte, the members of this, which are where they are found, they found both in fresh water. We can see them in fresh water and also in the marine water. So fresh water means, that means pools, lakes and all. Marine water means in sea, we can see them. Okay, and it includes, so this is one important point. Where do we find them? We will find them, these members, in fresh water and also in the marine water. And these includes, the important thing is diatoms. They include diatoms and also golden algae. Diatoms and desmids. Desmids. These desmids means nothing but they are golden algae. Don't get confused like, okay, it is coming as algae. It should be in the plant kingdom. Don't get confused like that. So, desmids are called golden algae, and this comes under kingdom Protista, under chrysophytes. And these are, you know, kingdom Protista are microscopic. Why it is microscopic? They are unicellular eukaryotic. They are microscopic. Okay. And one more thing we can say, and they float passively. And they float passively. Floating passively means, see, along with the water current, if if many people are moving around and if I am in between them, so I will be walking them along with them, right? So in the water is flowing, and if leaf is there on that, so the leaf will also flow along with that water. In the same way, these microscopic chrysophytes or diatoms and desmids, they will float passively. So hence they call it as a phytoplankton. In what we call it as phytoplankton. We call them as phytoplankton. And most of them are in the nutrition, if we say photosynthetic. Photosynthetic means they can synthesize their own food, and these are the chief producers in the ocean. Say for example, plants are producers here on the terrestrial habitat, right? The chrysophytes under the kingdom Protista, which are diatoms and desmids, these are the chief producers in the oceans. Let us come to the structure of it. Structure of this chrysophytes. If we see, the diatom cell wall forms a overlapping which fit like a soap box. You have seen the soap box at your home, right? How it is fits. Like this, the walls are, the cell walls form the thin overlapping shells which fit like the soap box. So in the diatoms, so walls will form these cell walls. What? Cell walls will be fit. The cell wall fit like what? Fit like soap box. The structure, so which is fit like a soap box. The thin overlapping shells will form a fit like soap box, and the cell wall of this contains. Remember this. The cell wall will contain what? Silica. The cell wall is made up of silica. As the cell wall is made up of silica, this silica is non-biodegradable. Non-biodegradable. That means which cannot be degraded easily. Biodegradable. Or we can say it is indestructible. Okay. So, and the cell wall is made up of what? Silica, and which is non-biodegradable, which we can say indestructible. One more important thing, the question will be asked for the 1 mark question is, here also you will get name the organism where the shells will be fitting like the shells of this walls will be fit like a soap box, which where you will find them diatoms, where this diatoms comes under the protista and chrysophytes, right? So, and they will ask what the cell wall of diatom is made up of what? Silica. The silica which is non-biodegradable, or we can say it is indestructible. So one more question they might ask, what is that? They will ask diatomaceous earth. What do you mean by this diatomaceous earth? So this is important 1 mark question. See, when the diatoms die, what happens? They leave behind the silica. The wall will be remain like that, right? If any other organism dies, what happens? They will be living there. Everything will be degraded by the other organism. But as silica is indestructible, what happens? They leave this silica. When the diatom dies, they leave behind this silica cell wall. So where these diatoms are present? They will be present in the aquatic water. They will be present in water. So when they die, they will be there silica, indestructible silica. They will leave. So then when this will be accumulated. Many of it is accumulated not in 1 or 2 days. It accumulated for many years. Okay, and then it led to a large deposits of this silica. Large deposits of silica, and this we call it as what? Diatomaceous earth. Okay. So when the diatoms dies, they leave this indestructible silica which was present in the cell wall, and this will be accumulating over the billions of years, and then it forms a large deposit of this silica, and we call it as a diatomaceous earth. Okay, this soil which was present here in the oceans and all, this soil being gritty, like which is very hard, small material, this is used as a polishing for fine the surfaces. Okay, and the cell wall of diatom can pick up small impurities in the liquids. That is why these will be used. They will be used in filtration of oils and syrups. We can say diatoms are used in filtering serum. Okay. So this is about the diatom. I hope you have understood what kind of the questions you will be getting from this. They might ask give a note on kingdom protesta, or they might ask give a note on chrysophytes. 1 mark question also you may get it from here, like what is diatomaceous earth and what are the, you write a note on diatoms. So you need to write about their cell wall, what is diatomaceous earth and for what purpose they have been used. All these things you need to write. I hope you have understood about this chrysophytes.